Someone hurt you, and then they said sorry, and somehow you felt worse. You have been there. Most people have. And most people blamed themselves for it. Thought maybe they were being too hard to please, too unforgiving, too difficult. But what if the problem was never you? What if it was the apology? A professor named Roy Lewicki at Ohio State University spent years studying what actually happens when trust breaks between people. Not what people feel should happen, not what sounds right. What the research shows, the real mechanics of how damaged trust gets repaired. And what he found is that most apologies, the ones we were taught to give, the ones we instinctively reach for, are missing the exact ingredients that make an apology work. There are 6 of them. 6 specific things. And the number you include determines whether the person in front of you heals or quietly hardens. Today, we are going to go through all 6. Think about a crack in a wall. A bad apology is like painting over that crack. It looks better from a distance, looks almost fixed. But the crack is still there underneath, and over time, with a little pressure, it comes back, wider than before. Because painting over a crack does not fix the wall, it just hides the damage until the wall cannot hold anymore. A real apology, the kind that actually repairs trust, goes into the crack. It addresses the structure, it fills the gap at the source. It takes longer, it costs more. But when it is done, the wall holds again. The difference between those two approaches, that is the difference between what most people do when they hurt someone and what the science says actually needs to happen. Lewicki identified 6 components. The more of them a genuine apology contains, the more likely it is to actually repair the trust that was broken. Here they are. Number 1, acknowledge what happened. Not a vague, "I'm sorry if you felt hurt." That is not an acknowledgement. That is a deflection dressed in polite words. A real acknowledgement names the specific thing. I said something that was not true about you in front of other people. The person needs to hear that you know exactly what you did. Number 2, explain how it happened. Not an excuse, an explanation. There is a difference. An excuse says, "It was not really my fault." An explanation says, "Here is what was going on in me that led to this." People need context to make sense of a betrayal. Without it, the mind fills the gap with the worst possible story. Number 3, express genuine regret. This sounds obvious. It is not. Regret is not the same as embarrassment about getting caught. It is not discomfort about the awkwardness that followed. It is specifically, "I am sorry for what this cost you." Not what it cost me, what it cost you. That shift, from self-focused to other-focused, is something people feel immediately, even if they cannot name it. Number 4, declare your values. This is the one almost nobody does, and it is one of the most powerful. It means stating clearly who you intend to be. This is not the kind of person I want to be, and it is not how I want to treat you. It gives the hurt person something to measure future behavior against. It turns the apology from a moment into a standard. Number 5, offer to make it right. What can actually be done to repair the damage? Not symbolically, practically. If something was broken, what would fixing it look like? This step matters because it moves the apology out of words and into action. And action is the only currency trust actually runs on. Number 6, ask for forgiveness. Not demand it. Not assume it. Ask. Genuinely. This final step returns the power to the person who was hurt. It says, "I have done what I can." What happens next is yours to decide. That act of returning control, after taking it away through the original harm, is itself part of the healing. Here is the uncomfortable part. Lewicki's research also found that the components most people skip, the explanation, the declared values, the genuine offer of repair, are precisely the ones that require the most vulnerability. And the ones people use most. "I'm sorry you felt that way. I didn't mean it like that. Can we just move on?" Those are the ones that do the least measurable work on trust. In other words, the easier an apology is to give, the less likely it is to actually work. A real apology costs something. That cost, the discomfort of being fully accountable, is not a side effect of the process. It is the process. Most of us were never taught how to apologize. We were just taught to say the word. But sorry without substance is not an apology. It is a request for the other person to carry the weight of what you did, quietly by themselves, so that you can feel better. The 6 components are not a formula. They are what it actually looks like when one human being takes full responsibility for the pain they caused another. That is rarer than it should be, and it is worth knowing.